From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.87 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,201 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $22, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,674. Antiwar.com reports that Russia's foreign ministry reacted critically to the U.S. Treasury Department's new announcement of sanctions on Tuesday, saying the allegations of malicious cyber attacks were groundless. The cyber activities were allegedly centered on evading previous sanctions. The sanctions targeted Slovakia-based Lacno SRO and Russia's Vela Marine. The Russian company said it was baffled by the decision to target them, as the U.S. claims the diving equipment they provided to the Russian government was used to violate sanctions. Russian officials said the whole sanctions effort was done under false pretense, and that the Russians would soon offer a retaliation against the U.S. over the sanctions. Both sides have launched tit-for-tat measures against one another for years, and despite the Trump administration wanting to improve relations, they are constantly hitting Russia with new sanctions. Where this all ends is anyone's guess, but Russia has tended to make its retaliatory moves as close as possible to identical to the U.S. moves. This likely means they'll target a couple of Western companies and officials in this case. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the U.S. Coast Guard referred the deadly sinking of a Missouri amphibious tour boat to federal investigators for a possible criminal case on Tuesday. Coast Guard spokeswoman Alana Miller confirmed the case in which the so-called duck boat capsized on Table Rock Lake near Branson, Missouri, killing 17 people, was referred to U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Missouri. Miller said during the course of the initial part of our investigation, the fact-finding part, we identified stuff that could point to some sort of criminal activity, and we are not in the business of criminal investigations. After the boat was raised out of the water last month, Coast Guard Lieutenant Tasha Sanowik said the military branch's investigation would focus on the limits on when the boat could enter the water based on wind speed and the height of waves. The Coast Guard previously determined the cause of the failure was the rapidly worsening river conditions, but also cited a failure to anticipate the change in the weather conditions. Miller did not clarify what criminal activity is suspected, but said the Marine Board of Investigations used its collective judgment and consulted with its legal department before the incident was referred. She also told the Springfield News later the Coast Guard would continue its safety investigation. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports University of North Carolina police on Tuesday were reviewing video to find the protesters who toppled the statue of a Confederate soldier on campus, part of a recent movement to dismantle U.S. Civil War symbols that critics say glorify the South's legacy of slavery. About 300 demonstrators gathered on Monday evening for a protest and marched at the base of Silent Sam, a memorial erected in 1913 to soldiers of the Confederacy killed during the Civil War. Protesters pulled the statue down with rope, cheering as it lay face down in the mud, its head and back covered in dirt. The University Systems Board Chair Harry Smith and President Margaret Spelling denounced the toppling of the statue in a joint statement. They said the actions were unacceptable, dangerous, and incomprehensible. We are a nation of laws, and mob rule and the intentional destruction of public property will not be tolerated. Last year, UNC students threatened to sue the school, alleging that the university violated federal anti-discrimination laws by allowing the statue to remain on campus. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said in a statement he shared protesters' frustrations over statues but condemned the violent destruction of public property. Campus police arrested at least one person at the protest for wearing a mask and resisting arrest. The statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee was vandalized and later removed by school officials last year at nearby Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.